Amidst all of the heavyweight activity that has taken place since the December 23rd card, Danny Dubois beckons Hrgovic to look him up as an opponent for a future fight. It appears that Dubois is ready to step back into the midst of real contention. Let's talk about it. On the heels of his December 23rd 10th round TKO stoppage of Jarrell Big Baby Miller, Daniel Dubois is set to move forward with his record of 20-2 with 19 KOs for whatever the heavyweight division wants to offer coming up next. And he has even made a statement to Hrgovic, stating that I've heard you've been calling out everyone else's name, but I can't hear mine. That's an interesting sentiment from a young man who is still rebounding and reeling from a loss in contending for a unified championship against Alexander Usyk in 2023. When Dubois faced Usyk, he was stopped in the 9th round, and that fight took place in August. But Hrgovic, who is currently 17-0 with 15 KOs, is seeking competitive offers and has that IBF mandatory position on the line as he seeks an opportunity after the two men who hold the unified titles between them, Tyson Fury and Usyk, get it on. Will Hrgovic consider the likes of Danny Dubois? At the age of 31, the 6'6" Croatian may not necessarily be looking for a young, hungry gun like Dynamite Dubois, who showed some resiliency in his fight against Jarrell Miller. There was something about that fight that I noticed about Dubois where he took a huge turn of a corner. He could have finished that fight with a trouncing of Miller and been happy to go home with the decision. But Dubois got hungry late in that fight and decided to turn the heat up and stop Miller and not let him see the final bell. That bit of killer instinct and the fact that he recognized the significance of where he stood in that fight speaks volumes. And I feel that he grew up a tremendous amount in that fight and comes away better for it. As far as Hrgovic had a great fight with Zhilei Zhang. And in that fight, Zhang put him to task by dropping him and going on to win a unanimous decision. That's where Hrgovic won the unanimous decision, but many people thought that he lost that fight to Zhang. In that fight, he showed resiliency from having to get up off of the canvas, but it has been slim pickings ever since with Dempsey McKean and Mark DeMorte. He hasn't fought the type of opposition like Dubois, and this fight, if it were to come to fruition, would mean a lot for both men, have high stakes for both men, and I think their styles would mesh very well. They both like to hunt and pound, and the thing about it is they both have suffered setbacks. even though Hrgovic is still undefeated, he still had that Zhang fight, which proved that his vulnerabilities are real. Now, as far as Dubois, he can gain a greater ground with a fight like with the likes of Hrgovic. But will he be given that opportunity? His power is not underrated. He's a very strong fighter. But having now gone the distance with a stoppage, almost in a 10-round schedule fight, stopping the guy in the last round, there is something about getting the second win, knowing about your output, knowing that you could still get something done late in the fight. Whereas he seemed to fall apart a little bit against Usyk. Dubois did well against Miller. Now Hrgovic, who has been stronger and bigger than most of his opponents with the exception of the likes of Zhilei Zhang, he won't be much bigger than Dubois. He may outweigh him by a few pounds, but he's only an inch taller. And Dubois has a 78-inch reach, and he showed against Miller that he can work around behind the jab and he can move laterally. And he knows how to pick it up now and to let it down and work. Will Hrgovic give him that, or will he try bullying tactics? Will he try to be overly aggressive against Dubois? The Croatian is no Superman. Although his nickname El Animo is great for the books and sounds great when being announced, he hasn't really shown that he's that animal against the stiffer opposition with the likes of Zhang. With Dubois, he may think that he'll have a mental edge. But personally, I think this is the kind of fight where Dubois can become a different animal himself. Dynamite, as he's nicknamed, can come in and blitz Hrgovic. I think that's the type of fight that if Dubois' people are smart, they would send him in there to blitz him right away, to get in the Croatian's face, pummel him with shots, but be prepared and in condition for a long fight. But turn that heat up on him as soon as the first bell starts. It would make for excitement for the audience, but it would also let us know something about Hrgovic, who, like I said, has had a couple of soft touches and is looking for that elusive title shot. I know he has it in his mind that it may come against Usyk, but if it happens to be Tyson Fury, I'm not so certain that Hrgovic will be able to box with Fury. Fury's skill set is a bit different, and he would present a different range of problems, and he's very cunning. Hrgovic never appeared to be a great thinker to me in the ring. He seems to be brawn more than brain, but even I could be wrong about that. It remains to be seen. As far as Danny Dubois is a fighter that should have another opportunity. Why? Because he shows a willingness to get right back into the thick of things. In his most recent fights, he has faced off against the likes of Miller, Usyk, Trevor Bryan, Joe Joyce, all within the past 3 years. That's better opposition than Hrgovic, who only has Zhang. But will it be enough? I think it could be. Besides, even though Danny has a couple of losses on his record right now, he has showed the willingness and the desire to get right back into the hunt. So shout out to Danny Dubois, the man of dynamite. And let's see what happens with him in the future. Will it be Hrgovic or someone else? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about what should be next for Danny Dubois. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.